Welcome to Rules of Villainy, episode 41, where three, maybe not so new trading card game players anymore, quest and challenge their way to the competitive top tables and discuss their opinions on Disney Lorcana. As always, this week, we'll cover the latest news in Lorcana, answer your questions, and go over the latest developments in the metagame. As always, I'm Villain Vince, joined by my two co-hosts, Villain Andy, and the mayor of Lorcana himself, Brad. How's it going tonight, gentlemen?
I got a problem, guys. I got a new addiction.
What's
a
the new
Disney
addiction?
card game that's not Disney Lorcana.
Disney Solitaire.
Disney Solitaire. It's taking over. It's taking over, man.
Yeah.
I was avoiding it for so long. I was getting targeted with ads on all the socials. And then our friend Dick Burns sent a tweet out inviting his friends out for the perks that you get for friends. And I'm like, this guy's gonna get me to do it because I know what this is. This is a referral link to get bonus points and everything, right?
All right,
And I did
guys.
it.
I got a plan. So we ditched the podcast. That's the first part. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
Last episode.
I
We're
like
out of
that.
here. All right. This idea is just too good to pass up. So then our next idea, we take something that already exists. All right. Pick a game. Doesn't matter. Uno, Mahjong, Rummy, Blackjack. Blackjack's a good one, actually. Pretty addictive. We slap Disney on it. And then we spend...
Because we can just do that.
We spend about 5% of our budget on the game and the Disney rights, and we spend the remaining 95% of our budget on advertisements on Facebook. And we spam every single person on the universe with
You get people like me
advertisements.
signing up.
Yes, I have gotten over 1,000 of them in the 4 minutes I've been on Facebook in the past week.
Our friend Denver from our locals. It's the day after I signed up playing it, he sent me a referral link and bro, I'm already level 40. You missed out. You missed that window.
What? Level 40? Anyway, I agree with
now.
I agree with Andy on that. So I would say let us know what you think about our villain of the week, but there is none because the podcast is over.
We're billionaires
And,
now. We sold Disney
good
Mahjong.
luck. And forget those heroes. I guess the rules, the heroes podcast will take over.
The laws of heroism, Vince.
The laws of
Are they a
heroism.
joke to you? Are they an April Fool's Day joke to you? Come on.
I mean, they kind of are a joke to me because I tell you what, in this storyline, the heroes lose.
Oh,
that is true.
We do have our own villains. Do have their own land coming to Disney, so the heroes don't.
Yeah, I know.
is
Which
true.
speaking of which, I need to give a good call to my buddy Bob just to see the progress on that land.
Yeah.
You know, haven't seen final approval.
He has, he definitely needs our input on it for sure. And we got to give him the rules of villainous land, you know. Anyway,
but yeah, let's get into some news. Apparently, you're an actor now.
I am.
Brad.
I am over the course of the last week or so. I have hung up my top hat as mayor of Lorcana. Lorcana. I don't know why I said it like that. Of Lorcana. And that's the Midwest coming out at me. I am now an actor, and I've been on phone with agents and everything. I'm moving out west and going to be in a live action remake of The Little Mermaid. We're just completely swapping everything, right? This is all coming from a very fun video that I did with another local creator here and player, Rudros Travis. He invited me over to his place to record a new video. I don't want to spoil a whole lot, but it's a lot of fun. I'm going to link it down below. I had 2 lines in it, so I think I'm eligible for the SAG, Screen Actors Guild.
Mhm.
I am doing everything possible with this, and see you guys later. I mean, the podcast has ended, so I gotta have another.
I mean, that's right. We gotta find alternatives.
I heard that the Little Mermaid, you said they're flipping it around. It's going to be human bottom fish top, right?
Yes.
Instead of the other, right? So you're just gonna,
Right,
it's gonna be your legs, and then they're gonna CGI the mayor as a fish on top.
Close. It's gonna be an actual fish.
Just an actual. Okay, so they're just gonna cut open a fish, a new fresh one each day, and then just
yeah,
and stick your arms out the side. Okay.
Yeah, and he's gonna have a top hat,
And
of course.
And when is the stage adaptation of this coming out so you can get your EGOT? because I know you're
that
already
comes
up
later.
for the Emmy and the Grammy, right?
Well, we've all got the Grammy
from the
podcast.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, for those that don't know who are listening, we won the inaugural Emmy for best Lorcana podcast.
Yeah.
It's on my wall over there. You can't see
it's the daytime Emmy Awards.
Yes.
Yes.
Like you have to
Don't look out the window back there. It's not dark. It's not nighttime right now.
Well, we didn't win it today. We won it in the day.
Yeah.
We're off the rails. Well,
I'm about to take this a little bit further off the rails real quick.
Oh,
though,
okay.
Because I tell you what, when reading this, the Brad is an actor now in our show notes, I just get the song stuck in my head, the 1985 from Bowling for Soup. It's like, she was going to be an actor. She's like, jump on the hood of Whitesnake's car. Yeah,
so the song is so long, and that did not do it justice at all. Like,
no, it did not.
Part. Yeah,
it did not. It did not do it justice at all. And he's like, we've lost
Disney.
Done.
Vince needs to stick to Disney tunes.
It's okay.
Only.
It's okay. The podcast is over.
That's right.
Nobody's
Which is kind of a shame, though, because
recording 5 minutes ago, they don't even hear this. Well, this is going live.
Which is kind of funny because product's now back in stock.
Yes, we said it.
We missed it,
and it became true. I actually talked to one of the local store owners, and I showed up on Thursday, and I said, "The product is back, right?" We put out the ultimatum to Ravensburger, and he said, "Yes, sir, absolutely. We got that in first thing this morning." It had the return address of Ryan Miller and Steve Warner's like home address. I think they mailed it overnight directly from their home address. So like, hopefully your LGS got a few as well. We advocated for everyone out there.
We did. We had a conversation with Mr. Ravensburger directly.
Yes, Mr. Burger.
Yeah, while we were visiting Miller.
Yeah.
Vance was talking to Bob about the, because we're on first name basis with Bob about Villain's Land, and me and Andy were over there talking about Lorcana stock. So, we're hitting it all.
We got it solved. So you're welcome.
Yep.
And
while we're on that topic, I figured, since we're getting things done, let's just go ahead and put this out here. Worlds, what's the deal with that?
We did not get that date.
Well,
we tried.
I think it's time that the Rules of Villainy make an official statement. Dear Ravensburger, we would appreciate if you told us what the world's dates were going to be, even just like the dates, so we can start, booking some travel. That's all we really need. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Let us know when that is. Thank you. We appreciate it. Sincerely, Rules of Villainy.
Well, I'm just going to say, listen, I even tried to go the
information right after we put out this podcast. It's going to Amazing. This is going to be
out tomorrow.
Listen,
our podcast is going to be immediately.
I'm just telling we went full Flynn McMissile on the Lorcana team, and they did not budge.
Yeah.
Okay. We tried. But
what else we got?
I don't know. It's really crazy. We got a lot here. We got some collaboration. We've got the collaboration with Brando. Andy, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I think we mentioned it before, but if you haven't seen it, we were on Lorcana Karaoke, the game show edition. Thanks to Brando for having us on there. It is hilarious. I've watched it like 4 times now because it's just that darn funny. So please go watch it now. And if you've already watched it, you probably forgot it. So watch it again because it's funny.
And he also just likes to hear his own voice too. But actually, I think what he really likes is me not getting any of the answers right
still winning.
Count the points. Count the points up. Count the points up. There's a.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day,
go comment on that video.
You didn't win.
There's conspiracy going on in the comments over on that video. That's all I'm saying. It's like it's up in the air.
There's no conspiracy. There's no conspiracy.
I heard that the Lorcana International, the Lorcana Karaoke Game Show International Committee is actively investigating the situation on the last episode. That's all I heard. Look, I just it's in the comment section. It's going crazy over there. I don't know. Go check it out.
But that's not the only collaboration. All of us have been doing the what is it? The
Chippendale Classic.
Chippendale Classic.
Presented
Thank you.
by
I'll take
Lorcana
this
Heat.
one, Vince, because I'm the one still in
Yeah,
it.
I was gonna say some of us have been doing better than others.
No, it's been absolutely incredible and great to watch. Our friends Lorcana Heat, Thick Flare, and Uncool Sam on their YouTube channel put together this whole event. It's been a lot of fun. We had to build decks, $100 decks or lower, around 2 cards that were randomly generated for us. Kirsten, our very own Kirsten, is in the finals waiting for an opponent. And by the time you hear this podcast, I will have played Lorgains on Thursday night. And let me tell you, the only thing he is gaining is a seat at the mayor's table because he ain't going further than that. I am coming in with my card, the King, and taking it all the way to the finals to play my very good friend Kirsten and taking it down for the Rules of Villainy podcast.
Listen, if we have a Rules of Villainy like final, what an epic
ROV throwing up
For the audio listeners, Andy is making gang signs with his hands.
Hand symbols. It's hand symbols. It's like when you spell poop. You spell poop when you were a kid in school. You didn't do that?
No, I did not.
I never
did. Yeah. Let's not be doing any gang signs. Nobody needs to find their way to El Salvador tonight.
All right.
Okay. Getting dark real fast.
Yeah. So anyway, check that out. The finals, whatever it'll be, like I said, by the time you hear this, the finals will have been set. And then we implore you, please check out Lorcana Heat's channel for that finals match. It'll probably be soon, early next week, and see who takes that down.
Let's go.
Well, congrats, man. I'm glad you're still in it. I was out quick.
Pascal, real good.
Baby.
All right. And then this Saturday, Andy, something's going on.
Yes,
tomorrow.
This Saturday. It'll be tomorrow by the time you're listening to this. 12 p.m. Central. $1,000 tournament. Disney Lorcana at One for All Games in Peoria, Illinois. So if you are in the Chicagoland area, if you are in the other parts of Illinois that exist, if you are in the St. Louis area, all of these areas and probably others are within travel distance. Get on your horse, in your car, in your buggy, your tuk-tuk, and ride all the way to Peoria and play in this tournament. $1,000 worth of cash money is being awarded. Thanks to our good friends, our new friends at One for All Games, 12 p.m. Central. But we are also streaming it. We have the A-tier casting team from Rules of Villainy, including myself and Vince. And we've also got some big things in store for the production as well. We are going to be in a new location, obviously, at this store. They apparently have a really nice facility over there. And we have also added in some extra fun little features to make watching the stream be all that more special. I won't spoil them. You got to tune in to find out. But Saturday, this Saturday, 12 p.m. Central, 1K, Peoria, Illinois. I think I've said everything. Am I missing anything?
So
no, I think that's good.
Rules of Villainy YouTube, right here on YouTube.
Yes, on this YouTube.
It's exciting.
Link in the description.
I'll have a link in the description for the actual video. We already have the video out ready to just go live. That'll be down there, and you can find it on our channel otherwise. So really excited about it. I can't wait to go over there.
All right. Next up is our favorite new segment here, Quest or Challenge. The rules are very simple here. You will quest it if the statement is something that you believe will happen or you believe in, or you'll challenge it because you don't think it's going to happen or you have reservations.
Okay.
As Andy quite rightfully pointed out, like in the game of Lorcana, you can choose to just pass. It's an acceptable response. You do need to explain yourself as you go along here. All right. So the first question here, which I'm going to give to you, Brad, because I think you might like this. Blurple is the best deck right now.
Oh man, my heart says yes.
Mind is
you know what?
telling me no.
I will. It's the best deck for me. I'll tell you that. I played Ed's new version of it when the North American Continental Champ. I have to answer you before I explain. I will say yes. When the North American Continental Champion, questing, is making a deck and succeeding with it, and I played it tonight against Heather and was blown away. Like, wow, taking out the entire bounce package, the Merlin Mims and everything, and it was a choice. But then slamming those locations and just ramping up and doing all that fun stuff. Playing 4 Hades is unheard of. No big Elsa. It's weird. It's weird not having her in there as a crutch, but yeah, it felt really, really good. Of course, it's going to have weaknesses, wide boards, things like that. But if you get those locations down, those wide boards have to answer those most of the time. So I'm going to go with my heart and say yes, because I just love that deck so much. What about you, Andy?
I don't know. For Brad, yeah, I agree. It is the best deck right now. And apparently for Ed, although I'd argue that the North American Continental Champion of the world, or I guess it's just of North America, you could probably
we haven't had Worlds yet, buddy.
Soon, they're about to announce it. Remember, we asked them politely.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know. I'm wondering how, could Ed win a tournament with Chernadogs? Could Ed win a tournament with a really low tier deck? Not that Blurple is, and then but he could just play a really low tier deck. Then everyone's like, "Oh, this deck's so awesome!" And then he just not just kidding, and whips out his tier 1 deck and just stomps everyone. Does he have that sort of influence? I don't know.
I think he has the skill to pilot any deck. Really, really well.
I just don't know that Ed doing well on it necessarily makes it the best deck. So I'm going to challenge that, I guess. And I'm going to say that while I think Blurple certainly has a spot at the table or is very close to being at the table, might be at the far end of the table with the broken corner and the wobbly chair with missing a leg. But I think it's there and deserves your time to test and mess around with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna challenge as well on this one. Mostly because it's still pretty new. It's a still pretty new deck. I need to see it a little bit more, I think. No, not Blurple.
Brad's been playing Blurple for.
I'm saying Ed's particular version.
You're right.
That is really kind of starting to pop off a little bit.
I think Ed's version.
I tend to think it's actually you need to be a skilled player to play that deck in particular. I think the bounce package actually is a little bit easier to play because there are more decision points, easier to get out of misplays than this deck from what I've seen. But to be fair, I haven't played this deck, so that's just my initial observation. I'm not a huge Blurple player. But I don't know. I could see this winning a set championship, but I don't think it's going to be the overall best deck.
Look, I just want to say this real quick before you go, Brad. Me and Ed are good friends. I'll throw the picture of the two of us up on the screen right now. We're great buddies. But if
that's a nice Photoshop, buddy.
If I need to win,
he's got a picture with him.
If I need to win a set champs with a Blurple list, I'm not calling up Ed to make my Blurple list. I'm calling up Brad, and I'm calling up Captain Inkswell, and I'm calling up all of the people that I'm now forgetting in Link. I'm calling up Link. I'm hitting up all of these all of these hometown St. Louis Blurple folks. These people know Blurple. Look, Ed was adopted by the Blurple, all right? Brad's been born in it, all right? Molded by it. That's all I'm saying is when I say Blurple has a spot at the table, I'm talking Mayor Blurple, not Ed Blurple.
Fair.
Yeah, we can move on. I can talk about Blurple all day.
I know. Well, I was giving you an opportunity. All right.
We'll talk about it later.
I appreciate it.
All right. So this one I think is a relatively easy one. Toy Story will be the first Pixar property in Lorcana. Andy.
What do you mean by first? Do you think it'll be like the first announced Lorcana? Because I mean, like, I imagine
They're all
multiple
coming at once.
Pixar movies will be in
Oh,
the
you think
first set.
multiple? I would say
Yeah.
that's a challenge. I'm saying like we get Pixar. The statement is that it's just going to be Toy Story first.
Okay, so you think that the first set that has Pixar in it, the only Pixar will be Toy Story? Okay, I
that's the statement.
right.
I'm
That's
saying.
the state. Right. I'm gonna challenge that. I think
All right, all
that there
right.
will be multiple Pixars. Do I think we're getting like the whole catalog of Pixar? No, but I think
Yeah.
Not in
there
one
are.
set, but overall.
I think
So-
that the Pixar set will have multiple Pixar. I'd say at least 3.
So what do you think? What do you think's going to be in that then?
I do think Toy Story needs to be in it. If Toy Story is not in it, we grab swords. Okay, we mob song. All right, that's like it needs to be there. I also really want to see like, oh man, there's so many of them. I want to see all of them. How about all of them? I just really
That's too
I
many
know
cards.
I
said
know we're
2
gonna
or
get like
3.
we're gonna get like a dud one, right? We're gonna get a dud one, probably like Cars, which is a great movie, but like
Keep that out.
you
That
you don't want me to say Cars
that-
the dud?
Yeah, because like I understand, I appreciate Cars. I never,
Most
and I
profitable franchise, I think, in
because
Pixar.
it was made to sell toys. That's it.
Look,
Just like Toy Story.
I don't want
anyway.
a Mater. I don't want a 3 cost 3-4 quest for 1 Mater. All right, in brown or whatever color.
The new ink.
The new ink.
The brown.
Dirt.
Rusty orange.
Rust. Yeah.
Rusties.
I'm gonna challenge it as well.
Okay.
I think Toy Story will be the most prominent, as it should be, as like the thing that kicked off Pixar and has been around the longest. Traditional Disney IP, 4 movies and probably another and 2 side movies, with the short or the 30-minute movies, So Toy Story for sure will probably be the most profitable. Probably be the name, the brand face of the set, right? With Return of Jafar, Head Jafar, and so on and so forth. If they do multiple, I think they'll probably pull just like popular characters out of all of them. It'll be Woody and Buzz. Which, by the way, Andy, perfect time to ask this question with a Buzz Lightyear hat and a Pizza Planet hat or Pizza Planet shirt on. Woody and Buzz, for sure. Wally, just whoever, Mr. Incredible, all of the big faces of the big Pixar movies. Mike and Sully, for sure, and then some of the ones in the yeah, exactly. And some of the background characters not so prominent, but recognizable, and that for thematic purposes of the other cards that are brought in with it. So, will it be the only Pixar in the first Pixar set? I would 100% challenge that.
Got it. Well, I'm going to quest this because we know we're going to get Pixar in 2026, and I think the smart marketing decision would be to slowly roll out this new IP as much as they can, and at least in Toy Story, like you just said, like, so you can have your centerpieces of the Buzz Lightyear and Woody and make them the centerpiece kind of the set with maybe like the Army Men or something. And if you wanted to, you've got 4 movies, 5 coming, plus the multiple shorts and short movies and stuff. Like, I just think Toy Story is going to be the centerpiece to the set, and I just don't see it. I think if they try to add in other characters, there's really no need. At this point, they could try to, next set could be like a Cars. The next set could be a more focused on the Incredibles or the what Monsters Inc. and stuff, or so the best
saying it's
film of all time, The Good Dinosaur.
What about? I wonder.
Just be clear, that is the worst Pixar movie. I'm sorry.
It's not bad. But
what is the least amount of like characters or cards that they've introduced a movie into Lorcana with? I know that Wreck-It Ralph had 1 card in like set 2 that was just like the action,
pick a fight. Yeah,
and then they finally got like a ton of characters all at once in like a set 3 sets later or something like that. but is there any instance where like, there's a movie right now, but like it's only one character, right? We don't have the main character yet or something like that. I feel like every franchise we have, they have at least a handful of them. And I don't think they've ever, like, even in Ursula's Return and stuff, it wasn't all Ursula, right? It wasn't a ton of Little Mermaid stuff compared to any other set. I'd love to see the
I honestly,
breakdown,
I think you two are probably more likely than right on this, but I'm going on a limb. I'm questing this. I'm taking it. I'm owning it.
Well, let us know what you think in the comments. Would you quest or challenge on these?
We got one more.
We got one more. Well, on that one, then. And I'll say it again to remind you, because you have to let us know in the comments whether you quest or challenge. You're obligated.
All right. Worlds will happen before the end of summer, which I know Andy's going to hate me for.
What is the end of summer? What is that? September 21st?
No, August. End of August.
Yes, end of
August 31st, right?
Okay. It's like August 25th or something.
First day of fall.
Well, I would say like the end of the month.
September 22nd. So technically, I have until September 22nd, according to this search result of when the first day of fall is.
End of actual summer, for sure. You think it'll happen?
So before school starts is what you're saying.
Yeah, I was saying like,
on like September 5th or something. What kind of school starts on September 22nd? Y'all had it easy. That was a long summer.
No, I mean, I usually started school in the end of August. But anyway, it doesn't really matter.
We're off track here.
Yeah. All right, end of summer.
Like it has to, I guess. I don't know. I really, at this point, I don't know. We're all gonna find out when Worlds is together soon. Tomorrow, Monday, soon. Ravensburger will hear this and they'll tell us. I trust.
Yeah. They're going to come on our live stream on Saturday.
I'm gonna pass, and just hope that I top deck World's date information the next turn.
Vince, you go next.
I'm gonna challenge here. I think, as much as I really, really want it, and I think honestly we need it. I feel like if it was going to be by the end of the summer, they would have already announced it by now. And I think we're just starting to tick slowly away. And I just think they've need to give folks opportunity to go. Although I know Andy has pushed back on that by saying like, there's a benefit to doing it, and because they're worried it might be too
destination
busy.
wedding thing.
Yeah.
But also they gave us very minimal time between the announcement of DLCs and the first DLC, right?
That's right. But I think they learned the lesson though, because I think the difference between that and this is that, like Brad has told this story, and I don't even remember who told him, but like when they first announced there were only going to be 500 people at DLCs, people were like, oh, it'll be fine. None of these things ever fill up and book or whatever and stuff. 500, this new card game, they're never going to fill that amount of people. And I think Disney probably thought that. I think PBG probably, in conjunction with them recommended, like, this is a good starting place. And then it blew up. We saw what happened. And so I think they know that's going to happen with Worlds. And I think if they don't give time for folks, I think a lot of people will be upset about it. And I don't think they want to do that like they did.
And you can't just do that at Disney World like you can at some convention center, right? Where things got moved around and everything. When it's Disney World, there's so much more to it. And I think that's one of the biggest hiccups right now is the logistics of bringing all of these people to Disney World who want to both play and view and play side events and all this stuff, right? So it's like it's not going to be a regular like park pass or anything. It's not even going to be at a park. It's going to be, but there's so much logistics between transportation and all this stuff that's really, really hard. The reason why I had you go first was because I was going to say I know that I should quest because I want to believe, and I was looking for a song, so I was a song card and say that instead of questing, I'm just going to sing this instead. But I couldn't find a good one to really pull off the joke. I'm hopeful that it is this year, like even in the summer beat where it's the best time to probably have it. But I just don't know anymore. I've been very, very, very hopeful that it was going to be in July. I thought July was going to be the window that they do it, but we're now approaching the beginning of May, and 2 months time is not a lot. But as you spoke about, we've done less before for the first one, right? So but being Disney World, it's really hard to plan that short of notice, with rates going up depending on how far out you are and stuff, and booking reservations and all this stuff. People want to plan around this, and it's just I don't know. I don't know.
What you're saying is that Vince doesn't believe, he doesn't trust, he doesn't believe. He's gone into the discard on the whole idea of Worlds this summer, and you, Brad, have decided to sing "I Won't Give In" and return the two-cost Vince from the discard back to your hand, and hopefully revive him and just, he won't give in. All right, try everything, Vince.
So I do have actually a question for both of you. That like this is just something I thought of. Is given where we are now with Worlds, do you wish that we would have had more DLCs and they would have prolonged the calendar out and maybe made like Continentals later than it was?
Well,
something. I wish we had something.
Would have been nice if we had maybe, let's say, 2 more DLCs in NA and 2 more in EU, so that we had maybe 32 players at this Worlds event. That would be kind of nice, but because we have 28 right now, so yeah, that would have been nice since we have this space. But I think it was too late. The train was already rolling. And I still contest that I think it would have been nice, although Brad's probably right. Disney World, all the logistics, it probably wasn't possible. It probably just would have been a literal train wreck. But I was on board with how the DLCs improved. They kept going. They did everything. It got better and better and better. And then Continentals, and then Worlds in March. They should just done it in March. Like, something messes up. Oh, well, who cares? We learn from it. We start the next season and we move on. But it seems like they had a hiccup or whatever, and they were like, we got to do it. Right.
So, my long tinfoil hat on this has been that I think they want to include Japan and China in this.
This isn't the MLB where the World Series is just America and Canada, right?
Yeah.
Like they want to include worldwide players.
Yeah. And I just feel like the longer we get, the more likely that scenario is to happen. The second thing I'll say, which is something I haven't talked about, is that unlike the DLCs, which where everybody plays and there's like the main event and then there's side events and stuff, I actually really think they want to invest in doing this quest kind of event. Sure. And I think that's actually significantly logistically more challenging than just setting up tables for people to play side events or to have other, card games and stuff. And so I think they, unlike these earlier DLCs where they could get better, right? Like there was some grace from the community. I don't know that there would be as much grace from the community to do Worlds and it not be great, because it's expensive to go to Disney World. Like you're asking people to spend a lot of money there. You're asking
Vegas. I think if Worlds had happened in like March and it was basically Continentals, but like 4% better, I think people would have been happy and fine with that. And I think if you were to ask a lot of people in the community, if they would have been happy, like if they would take that right now over what they've got currently, which is so much confusion that it's like, I think they'd say yes.
I think you're probably right that had they done it in March, you're right. But the longer they wait, the expectations for how good it has to be higher.
Yes, because now if I go there and they don't have this like thing I can walk through the park and like get all these autographed cards and like have all this fun thing, now I'm gonna be like, well, what did we wait for, right?
But anyway, we should move on to Constituents Corner. But I appreciate that was quest or challenge, and as Andy said earlier, let us know what you think down in the comments below, and whether or not you like the segment, and maybe we can create a channel in our Discord for you to submit your own quest or challenges to the villains in the future. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Yeah, welcome to Constituents Corner. We have one question tonight from the G Hall. Our friend Gary over at Grapes Games is asking, off the top of my head, we've got the Vault, Fix-It Felix, and the Wall as ways of keeping locations on the board, but I can't think of a way to stop a location from being chosen. Maybe ward for locations, but some sort of stipulation. For example, when you exert a hero here, this location gains ward till the start of your next turn. Thoughts, fellow villains? And thank you, Gary, first time writer. Appreciate you submitting that.
Isn't there a card though that prevents challenging of locations?
Challenging is the wall. The wall prevents challenging of locations.
But you can still what Gary's
like
asking is you can still target that location with you're welcome or hideaway or something.
Right.
Yeah, I think the easy solution is to just plaster ward on one of the locations or have some kind of character, which I think Jackalope Spam said in I don't have the Discord open at the moment, or at least that channel.
Aurora.
Regarding there's an Aurora who protects your items from being chosen.
There's Aurora
right?
who protects your characters too.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe there'll be an Aurora now just for the trifecta to protect your locations, or if there's some kind of thematic character to that would protect the location, right? That would make sense to give them some kind of ability to do that. And I think that's the easiest way to do it. Maybe they give it its own thing, but I think ward is already established. This can't be chosen, so it would be just a location ward. But yeah, who do you think it would be?
Technically, they could just slap ward, the keyword ward, on a location, right?
Yeah.
But the Aurora says your items can't be chosen for does it say actions or abilities? Opponents can't choose your items. Aurora.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I mean,
opponents can't choose your items for abilities or effects. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess actions are considered effects. That's a new vocabulary.
I think that'd be a good mechanic for a location. You know, I mean, I think there's some balance things and stuff. Obviously, you have the ability to use characters. I kind of like the idea of a character giving location ward versus
right,
a location having ward. Particularly because generally speaking, then you can attack the character that gives the locations ward. So that makes it easier to.
There's not a lot of spot removal for locations too, so it's like it's not necessarily needed at this point where it's like, oh, all my locations are getting hideaway or hit away or you're welcomed. You know, a lot of people just using their big attackers to challenge into them, right? So it's not a problem now. Maybe in the future, as future sets come out, the first character that comes to my mind to protect a location with ward, and it's probably just because I have a big Lego set of it right here, is Wally. You know, the whole theme of Wally is cleaning up the planet, right? What if he's protecting? You know, he gives a location ward when he's in play, or all locations have ward or something. I don't know, but later on down the line, I could see that being a thing. But right now, there's just not a lot of locations being chosen. In my opinion, that I'm aware of. So,
for
me, I think Andy. Sorry, go on, Andy.
I was just saying, I think this kind of boils down to like they want that clearly this listener wants like locations to be better, and I think it's easy. I don't think we'll use the word ward or the keyword ward. I think it will be something that say your locations can't be the target of abilities or effects like the Aurora is. I don't know if we'll ever just slap ward on it because we're not slapping that on like items and stuff. But really, they just want locations to be better, and it kind of makes me wonder like whether maybe not ward, but what does a location? What do locations need to be better? Because right now, I barely play too many locations. There are a couple that are played, but then like because of that, there's like very little targeting of locations because, you know, only like 20% of my opponents are going to have locations, and like a lot of times I can just challenge them and because they don't hurt me back or whatever. So like what do locations need to be good, I guess?
I think you've just said it though, and I think you've said it before, is that locations need to be able to hit back. I think that is the ultimate thing that would make locations more playable, is that there is the risk of a challenging locations is that you put your own characters at risk to be challenge back on your next turn unless you're using the bounce package to be able to put them back in your hand and yada yada. Like there are things you can obviously do to help mitigate that, but I just often don't think that that's as big of a risk as it would be if you ran say Maui into Queen's Castle, and even if you just took 2 damage back, right? Like that can make a whole heck of a lot of difference on your strategy on how you would challenge certain locations and stuff. Now, to be fair, like that would, I mean, if Queen's Castle hit for 2, that would be a really like powerful card overall, I think.
Right.
Just given its abilities as well. But you mentioned, honestly, the main reason locations are played today is either because of their abilities that they get, which is usually card draw, or because they're just hard to remove.
Yep.
And they are basically auto lore gainers as a result of that. And so those are the only locations that are really played in Lorcana today. There are maybe like 1 or 2 that are played, here and there, and maybe in certain specific decks because they're important to those decks, but they're not critical to those decks.
Some of them these days are critical, like DKP and stuff. But yeah, locations, like the mana is like a 0/9 character that just is always exerted, and the reason it's better than a 0/9 character that quests for 2 is because it can't be targeted the same as a character. So it dodges 99% of the removal. Can't target locations. So
sounds like Gary's trying to get a mana out there and not have it get hit away.
But
what about like a location that while this location has lore based on the characters that's there, and it does damage to any character that challenges it based on the strength of the characters that are there, but characters here can't quest. So
I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of text. But
I mean,
I follow
shorten it. But yeah, basically the lore and the strength, of this location is
basically kind of a backwards support. It's like you're giving.
In fact, you could even say that they have to be exerted there, which means you're kind of incentivized to challenge or sing, which would be the better one. But you have to find a way to get your characters exerted at the location, and now your location fights back and gains the lore. But again, only if your location and your characters survive survive the night, if you will, aka your opponent's turn.
Yeah, I would have to see that. I mean, it's definitely spicy, but I definitely feel like that's one of those cards you're like, ooh, spicy. Also too expensive to play.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's the card.
Kind of rough.
The card that Andy just described is like the perfect example of like a dream card that we should put together for a possible collab with Smorkana when they get all moved in with all of their real life stuff. As you're going on about that, I'm like, that sounds really fun to just put together and figure out what is this location, what is the exact terminology, and how does it work. And I love that kind of brainstorming.
And then we assign. And then we need people on the team too to assign that to the lore. Like, which movie is this location, right?
Yeah.
Like which, because that's the other thing.
Who's drawing it? Who's doing the artwork?
I recently watched Treasure Planet, and the map of Treasure Planet. Spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen it, is like this ball that they have, and when they used it like opens this portal, and you could travel to all these different locations. And I was like, map of Treasure Planet. Pay 1 less for the locations that you play. Pay 1 less to move to locations. So it's very thematic. So we'd have to figure out, what theme this fit in with as well. But I got plenty more where that came from, Brad.
Good.
And Ravensburger,
isn't it great?
I'll trade several of them to you for Worlds info. Just hit me up.
Isn't it great watching Disney movies now and applying Lorcana cards to them? Like, it clicks. I get it now.
Kirsten has pointed out that it has spoiled movies for us as well.
Like Lyle. Yeah.
Atlantis. Yeah. We knew Lyle was a villain because of the card game. And then I will say, John Silver, why is he a villain in Lorcana? I mean, if you've seen Treasure Planet, at the very least he's redeemed. criminal, maybe. So is Flynn Rider. He's not a villain in the game. So like, I just look. I think I kind of, I'm kind of a John Silver sympathizer here a little bit. All right, like maybe he was
Flynn Rider isn't a villain.
He's a criminal in the movie. He's a criminal. And then he marries into royalty, and therefore all his sins are forgiven. And so he's not a villain in the game of Lorcana. John Silver is a bad guy, a villain at heart. He's committed lots of crimes, but he, has a soft spot. And Jim Hawkins his heart grew several sizes during that movie. And him and Jim Hawkins grew a bond like father and son. And he was redeemed. He saved Jim in the end, and then he gave him some gold for his mom's hotel or whatever, bar, restaurant thing.
You know what?
Like, why is he a villain?
I would agree with you. If you agree with me that Darth Vader's not a villain then as well, because you know what? He saves Luke at the end of the original trilogy. So...
Yes. All right. Well, that's kind of like Deathbed. All right. John Silver was redeemed and he like left and stopped doing crime and he presumably lived a life of not
a pirate,
piracy.
I just want to state for the record here that Darth Vader, while Gid is redeemed in the end in the sense of his character arc, is not redeemed as an individual. The man committed genocide.
I know.
But some things are just too far, all right? Anyway.
Did John Silver commit genocide? No. Did he kill a bunch of younglings? No. Well, actually, I don't know. Did he?
I don't think so.
I haven't seen this one.
He's just he's a greedy pirate. He's a potato captain.
He is a potato captain. We always got that. Yeah, we'll always love him for that. Do we have any other comments or responses to Gary's question?
Only the one question this time?
I scrapped the other one in the interest of time. We can ask it.
Let's do it.
Well, I gotta pull it back up now.
Yeah,
Vincent.
We don't need to talk about the actual game of Lorcana. That's fine. It's not like we know when Worlds is or anything.
The other question was from Cody Mustang 240, one of our locals here and on the team. He asked, in each of your own opinion, all right, I remember why I scrapped this one. I don't have a good answer for it. In your each own's opinion, we are 7 sets in. What is the worst mechanic in the game, and on what character does the mechanic just make the card unplayable, excluding cards with no abilities? Locations can count as well.
Okay.
I know what you guys are going to say.
I am confused.
Go for it.
I am confuzzled.
I am too, actually, a little bit.
Excluding cards with no ability. So I guess he's basically saying, what is the worst mechanic, but a vanilla card does not count as a mechanic. In which case, what's the worst mechanic? I was leaning towards one answer, but then when he said, what character does the mechanic just make the card unplayable? I immediately remembered the most unplayable card in the game of Disney Lorcana, Mirabelle.
I knew
it's a Champs card that if you don't have 5 characters, you cannot play the card. Technically the most unplayable, but that's not really a mechanic. So I don't know.
It's unplayable for now until they create a card which says play the first top 5 cards in your deck.
No, that doesn't work. I'll play the top 5. Okay, gotcha. Sorry, my bad.
That's
doesn't even work. That doesn't even work if it's
like super quick, right? Like you have to somehow be able to flood the board, and it can't be from your hand because you can't just have like 6 cards and play all of them at once.
So you need to cheat out a bunch of character cards.
I think all the mechanics in Lorcana are very valuable. I think support is probably the most underused. Yeah. It's not the worst though. Like I think it's a good mechanic. I think Ravensburger maybe values support a little more than it should be. Like there's no cards where you're like, and it has support. Like the closest we get to that is like the Sheriff of Nottingham, right? The one that Zan found from the bulk bin.
No.
So like support gets underutilized, but I think it's really just because we don't have like any broken cards that also have support. But I don't know.
What about you, Brad?
Like I said, I don't really have a good answer, and at the same time, I don't know what makes I'm confused with you guys after rereading the question again as well, because the mechanic makes the card unplayable. So, like, if the mechanic wasn't on the card, would the card be playable?
So what's a
I
mechanic
don't.
you think is the worst and or worst
What I
card?
Yeah, I don't know. I think supports. I don't think any of them are bad. I know Vince. Oh no, never mind. We're not talking about best. We're talking about worst. Vince is going to say resist. He's going to say ward is the worst. But I don't know. I don't have a good answer.
Prince John's. I hate the ward.
No, I don't think there's any mechanic that is bad in Lorcana. I think they're all good.
Yeah.
If anything, I would say it's like the problem with Lorcana, which I mean we've talked about in the past, so I don't really want to belabor it. Is that removal tends to be pretty expensive.
Yeah. Is there any
and I think that ends up being the biggest challenge to some things.
Are you saying Challenger is the biggest? No. What I do think maybe I realize now. Cody's question is probably closer to like, are there any like silly abilities or like sort of pointless abilities? Like if you think about Rafiki when it came out, the 03 Rafiki, right? Or 02 was it? The 03 Rafiki, then
Challenger. Yeah, Challenger 2,
whatever.
Challenger 3.
Yeah,
I know.
He takes no damage from hyenas. At the time, there was no hyenas in the game. One hyena in the game or something.
Maybe Shenzi might have been out at the same time, but that's it.
And so it was like, this is the silliest ability ever. Like it didn't make the card unplayable at all. In fact, the card was still really good even with that worthless ability. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Can you guys think of any like just ability that is? Why does this exist on the card?
No, not really. I mean, it's mostly just sometimes it's like this card just doesn't seem meta play because it's not there are better cards to put in a deck, right? Yeah. But it doesn't make it a bad card.
Right.
It could just be like a fun card for a thematic deck. And maybe you don't play that thematic deck. But yeah.
There are some that are like,
I think we've answered this. We can.
Yeah, if I had more time, if I was looking at abilities, I might have come up with a good answer. But when he said mechanic, I was like, I kind of like how the game works.
There's a lot of
how
like
it is
understated cards that have abilities that I think Ravensburger overvalues as well. Like a character will be like 6 cost, 0/6, and it'll be like for every 1 damage it gets 1 lore, and you'll be like, that card is so bad in so many scenarios. Like, and they were like, well, we just, Ravensburger's thinking we just don't want it to be that powerful or something, right? Yeah. So there's like weird ones like that where it just didn't hit with the combo of effects.
All right, is that it, guys?
That's it.
All right, if you'd like your questions answered by if you'd like your questions answered by the villains in the future, please be sure to comment on the video, this video, or our socials, or join us on our Discord where you can comment in the Constituents Corner channel. All right, Vince.
All right, or comment on any random video.
Yeah, any of them.
Too.
Yeah, I think it notifies us. That's fine.
That's fine. Yeah. No. So our main segment is just to get the ball rolling about what to play with set champs because it's coming up. Coming up fast. It's like not this weekend, but starts the following weekend.
Correct. But this weekend, arguably more important than set champs, there is a $1,000 tournament in Peoria, Illinois, sponsored and hosted by One for All Games. So definitely check that out.
But I will just say real quick though, is you won't, if you're going to that, you won't have time. But if you need to order cards for your deck for set championships, you can go to
partner.tcgplayer.com/ROV.
And thank you to the TCG player folks over there who give us a little bit of money for
your purchases.
For your purchases. And it doesn't, the greatest thing is doesn't cost you any extra money.
Not a penny.
And so what decks should folks be thinking about?
I don't know about what they should be thinking about, but I want to know what you guys are thinking about because I have sort of fallen into this role of I'll play whatever. I'll figure something out. I'll have
this whole set.
I'll have deck anxiety forever. But I really want to try and help Kirsten and my friends when I go to locals and I sit down against Ron in the first round at Bodox, which has now happened like 4 weeks in a row. I just I think, what do I want Ron to practice against? I ask him sometimes, what do you want to play against? And so like, I want to know what you guys are playing, and I want to pick it apart and figure out why it might be the best or worst decision to take to a set champs.
Yeah.
I probably won't. Sorry, Brad, but I probably won't play in too many because I will be running at least one of them at game night so that
Fortuna?
Brad can play.
Are you
Well,
gonna
I
play
don't
Fortuna?
usually. I usually
Yeah,
play
yeah,
at
yeah.
Fortuna,
Right.
which is the one I'll usually play at. And then
Assuming he's
generally,
alive.
Andy and I will cast one.
Right. Assuming he's alive and it's not the Vince Memorial set champs that we had that one time.
It only happened once, okay? Only happened once. But I think the deck I'll probably play at this point is Ruby Amethyst.
Ruby Amethyst?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're playing Ruby Amethyst, Vince, are you in the like heavy evasive package with the Pan Shadow Finder and the Maui Half Shark? Or I've actually seen a few lists recently do well with our favorite frenemy, Flynn Rider, and like a classic Ruby Amethyst package.
So I've been leaning more towards the evasive package as of late. That's just because I've been tired of playing the frenemy, and also just because I think he's
He's a
kind
criminal, right?
I just because I think he's. It's kind of a. I feel like it's a coin flippy card.
Can be, yeah.
And I don't like that a lot. Like I would prefer a more consistent deck that has better overall matchups than trying to play the high risk but high reward of the Flynn Rider. So I go in knowing that there are matchups that I will lose because I don't play that version. But I feel like if I play better than my opponent on average, I will do better than trying to be just lucky with Flynn Rider.
Okay. Do you any particularly spicy cards you've been trying out or you want to try out? There's that there's a couple cards for if you think discard's prevalent. You got the Finders Keepers. You got that Genie you throw away and draw 3. Genie versus Rabbit I know is a hotly contested subject. Big
So
Sisu.
so I am playing the Finders Keepers.
Okay. Locations. I've seen a couple with Queen's Castle and RLS Legacy in there. You can just go like, all gas, no brakes, and just try and run them down with that.
No, library.
Okay, good one too.
But what do you? I'm curious what you think about RLS Legacy.
I don't know. I've been trying to work it in a list. It's uninkable, which sucks. And it costs 2 to move there, which also sucks, especially when you're kind of spoiled with library and Queen's Castle. And
worth running
Manor.
the gym package?
What?
Is it worth running the gym package to get it out there for free and move him over there? Does he only move for free on play, or does he move for free always?
Whenever you play the location, he can go to it, I believe.
Yeah.
Which
but
I've always liked that. No, he's inkable.
Is he inkable?
He's inkable.
He's inkable.
Yeah, he's inkable.
Okay.
Which is nice. So that is a line. I haven't tried going full location with the gym package yet. That is an interesting one. But I have considered the RLS Legacy because with all of the evasives in the meta, the RLS Legacy enables something like that. So if you play a Legacy and then you can play a Fox and move it into the Legacy, and now it's got evasive, it can take out a Genie. And then it has Ward to survive, something coming back at it. So
I played Heather tonight at Fortuna, and she played a deck that was basically all evasive. It was an Emerald Amethyst evasives deck, and I barely got around it with my. I tried 2 different decks. It was Jafar Wheel was the last one we did, and the only reason that I got past that. We don't got to get into that, but the point was all the evasives that are prominent in the meta right now are insane between Ruby Amethyst and the Emerald Amethyst decks that if you don't have spot removal or evasives in your deck, then they're just sitting there questing. Like she wouldn't turn her non-evasive sideways for me to gain anything from her, because why should she? She can just quest with the evasives, and it was an absolute nightmare. So I would definitely lean into the evasive side of things.
That's wild though. Yeah. The RS Legacy is spicy. That's for sure. I think it's a spicy card to add to the deck. If you have a character there, though, you pay 2 less to move any additional character there. So it's 3 to move the first one.
Right. Yeah.
And then you pay 1 for each additional
Actually, I didn't
character there.
That's good. So it's really good with the gym package then, because if you can play this with gym, then it has the cost of a castle or a library to move there, which is honestly just pretty insane to be able to gym this on 5 and then play a Maui on the next turn and 1 to move it over there, and now it has evasive. Yeah, that's kind of brutal. So no Flynn, the 2-drop's got to be, what do you got? Pegasus, you running the Snake, Cusco.
I got Pegasus as an evasive, the 3/1, which I like.
Add into steel, but really good into that oops all evasives, Emerald, Amethyst. That's for sure.
That is definitely the thing I find is that my deck is a very weak against steel unless I can control the game, and that feels very coin flippy at this point. But I haven't played it all as much as I would like.
Yeah, steel really does hurt the Ruby Amethyst, I think, a lot, because if you think about it, your best play on 1 is the Diablo, especially because they're going to look at something like a Cindy and singing to remove whatever your 1/2 drop is. Raja, I think, may be worth considering in the 2-drop slot still. But you play that evasive, and they just, they blow that up as well with a strength or a storm. Especially if they then throw down something like a Troubadour or Vanessa. Man, now Storm or Zeus is online, and you're like, okay, well, nothing's safe. And even if you're playing something like Blurple and you ramp up to 4, it becomes really tough if they can hit all that. And then with an Amethyst list, you're trying to draw cards. So even if you are going first, right? So you go first, you play your Broom, your Chernobyls, they play Cindy. Well, you just get rid of yours. You throw your Chernobyls away, get a card. In a couple turns,
In
a couple turns, you're getting whole new worlded. And it's like all your card draw and this healthy hand you were keeping doesn't matter, because it's just you're reset back to neutral. So that can definitely be a tough matchup. What about you, Brad? Are you you on the Blurple train?
I think so. I mean, that's my most comfortable deck. I did like the Ed version I played tonight. I only had a couple practice games. One was against Steel Fossa, or a couple against Steel Fossa, and then I think I moved on. So that's my only. But it felt good. I would like to.
Though. Come on, you got to get some better reps in there, right?
Oh, come on. Heather played it really well.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, all right. Yeah. But still, when you is it a Steel Song deck that had Mufasa in it, or was it Steel Fossa?
No, it was Steel Fossa for sure. Right. Blurple's got to be the way that I go, whether it be my version or Ed's version. I feel comfortable piloting either. At first, it was weird piloting this one because the only 1-drops he has in it is the popsicle. So you want to hit that bell on turn 1 and do what you do. Otherwise, it's just ramp. And then at first I was like, between the first altar and the play, I'm like, oh wow, I have nothing going for me. And then as I just kept playing, it just everything fell into place. I'm like, okay, it feels like Blurple again, but it's weird not seeing any 1-drops come out if you miss all those pops entirely. I would like to, just on a personal level, repeat with Red Fossa, Ruby Fossa, but it's just not in a good place right now with all the removal that exists. All the Blurple, all the blue that's out there now with the Let It Goes and stuff that the Mufasa doesn't even get to play his game. And it's just, I don't know. Every time I've run it at locals, it doesn't feel like it's going to get there. Unfortunately, it just doesn't feel like it did 3 months ago. So kind of put that off the table. I didn't feel good playing it tonight. Even that's the deck I ran into the all evasives on too, and I'm like, well, this is what am I going to do? I did threaten a bunch. I was showing win on board, but she just casually dealt with everything. I was like, okay, well, I tried.
Does that deck ever play Maui Half Shark? You think there's a spot Ruby Fossa for a Maui Half Shark? Deal with the
You're not playing any actions. I mean, Half Shark would be for that reason alone, yes. Right. But you got to cheat him out and then hope that he survives just a challenge, and then you have no actions in there to get back. So the value's not there. The attack is there for sure.
Goofy is a good one then. But you really need
Which Goofy?
The rush evasive Goofy. It's like a 6-cost 5/5 rush evasive Goofy from this set. I don't remember. It's a Peepo. Sorry, not Goofy, Peepo.
Yeah, I don't know this Goofy talk. he's what color?
Ruby.
Oh,
Ruby.
the red rubies. Yeah, I forgot about that card.
Yeah,
that's a card Ryan, one of our teammates, actually showed me after I won a dojo. Was that I was running the Peter Pan, the Inkable Peter Pan, but he didn't have rush, but he was evasive, and he was like a 4/5, I think, or a 5/4.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually like this Goofy a lot better, and then I never slotted him in. That's a good call, actually.
You need an evasive. What is the number for Ruby Fossa of ink with the Gaston? You get a 6-cost on turn 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the Goofy then does fit that and works well.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
The problem is the number of unequables already are too high. I would probably
too dang high.
Yeah. I don't know what I'd have to look at it. I do really like that card.
Yeah.
But yeah, the turn four is very situational where I either trying to get the draw from the Rapunzels or the Raya or the whole package I've talked about on here several times. But I like to drop a Tremaine on there sometimes too if they only have a single thing on board. But ideally, I'm trying to get it's a Mufasa deck, and as you've said multiple times in the past, like it's a deck that has Mufasa in it. You're hoping to get Mufasa out there, but a lot of times he ends up in the inkwell while I'm doing other stuff. So
yeah,
I do like that Goofy a lot. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I kind of want to slot him in and try it out, but we're a week away from set champ, so it's
you got time.
hard.
But Red, you play like every day, so you'll get.
You got time.
I play once, maybe twice a week.
We can play some webcam games. We can test out. You can join us next Tuesday for Deck Test Tuesday. We can do some webcam games on the
might
stream
be an actual possibility. I'll let you know.
It's an option, but I think Blurple's still really good.
Yeah,
I would. I think of all the Amethyst decks, Blurple is like the best because of the ability to cheat out the extra ink on turn 2 and just skip turn 3. You mentioned the Bell package. That deck only runs Bell and Friends at the 3-cost slot, I believe. Ed's list. And I was playing Blurple and I was running Pan Shadowfinder because I wanted to enable the Iagos, but that card, along with Fox and Crab, are both very counterintuitive to this ramp on 2 strategy. So if you ramp on 2 and then you play a 3-cost on 3, well then why did you bother ramping? You just spent a card from your hand for nothing.
Right. Yep.
It's inefficient. So wanting to play something on 4 immediate, a lot of very 4 heavy is nice. The Iago is an interesting choice. I
don't like it. I actually split that one with. I did two Iagos and 2 Shadowfinders because I'm like Iago's fine to play on 4, but you get no value from him whatsoever if they just target him and he goes away, right? So it's.
So you did Shadowfinder, the 3-cost one.
Yeah, but I have him in there. But at what point do I use? I also didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know the value of 4 Iagos. Like, sure, he's out there and he's a threat. Maybe I get them to waste a removal card on him. But I just decided on the spot as I was gearing up to play Heather, I was like, I'm not going to put in 4 Iagos. I'm actually going to put in 2 Shadowfinders to kind of give him rush. If I have to play that card on 3, if say I miss ramp or something, right? So I don't know. It was just a choice that I made.
Problem with 2 of each is that now both of them are lessened, right? Like if you have 4 Shadowfinders, 4 Iagos, now you're more likely to hit a Shadowfinder, which means you're going to be more likely to be able to use Iago's Rush. With 2 and 2, the chances of you being able to find both of them is lessened.
Yeah.
And but I'm with you. I don't know about the Iago necessarily. I would be, I wonder about the Scrooge, right? Scrooge, the 4 cost
for 2,
5/5.
5/5.
So the Uninkable's rough, but I think that would be another interesting one.
Only be 16 uninkable. He's only at 12 with the current list right now. So
yeah, and if you think about it, the 4-drop, they're really just slamming down one of these locations, or
I mean, to be fair though, the Shadowfinder's uninkable too. So
yeah. But the Iago's not,
going
right?
to.
The Iago would be, in theory, what we would be replacing here is that we
Entirely.
think Iago threatens the board really well, but
we're talking about the Vanish.
The
Iago,
Vanish Iago,
4/6.
It is, you get heavily punished if they can spend. And the biggest thing is the more Iago gets played, the more people are just going to play these stupid little 1-cost cantrip. Like I was looking
Mosquito
at
Bite.
Mosquito Bite or Helping Hand. Give
it support
and then draw a card, like or that what was the one I put in chat earlier.
Ever as before.
Yeah, and heal, remove up to 2 damage from any number of chosen characters. Oh, do you have 4 Iagos on board? Oh no, whatever will I do? 2-cost song that sing with Tipo and just choose all of them. Oh, and I'll just heal all of my characters for 2 while I'm at it too. Everyone heals all
Christmas
around.
Dreamland crap there though, right? 4 Iagos on board and a Tipo to sing as before.
But still, like, the Iago and the Vanish, I think Vanish in general, I think has the same problem as Bounce, in that the more expensive the card is, the less valuable its quote unquote downside is, right? Bouncing a card on 2 or 3 is not that big of a deal, and it can be a very helpful thing to do later for 2 or 3 ink. But bouncing a card for 4, 5, 6, 7, more is, tedious, and it becomes an actual issue. And losing a 4-cost 4/6 that has evasive is crazy, but losing that to a 1-cost cantrip action is, something to cry home to mom
not great.
about.
Yeah,
it's not good. It feels so bad.
And I mean, you're really not playing anything. You're not playing the Jafar, which is the only thing that can bring it back. It's kind of what I would like to see. Hopefully, next set is like Jafar, like a character maybe like more expensive probably than Jafar, probably like a 6 or 7 or something that basically like prevents your Vanish characters from being targeted by actions.
You mean Ward?
What?
You mean Ward, Vince? It's called Ward, and that character exists. Her name is Aurora, and it can be played in Blurple, actually. So,
but that Jafar can't.
You don't need the Jafar anymore because they're not going to get vanished.
They
got Ward now, Brad. They can't possibly be chosen for vanish.
Wow, that's annoying.
I should know because I played that that Aurora in my deck at the
Chippendale. Yeah.
Nice.
Your other characters gain a ward.
Next time around, we're making this more of a team effort. I didn't share any tips or tricks or anything or whatever, but after I got my butt handed to me, I put all my chips in the middle on Vince, and then I saw Vince's deck, and I was like, man, I should have helped Vince with his deck a little. Not really. You did really good, Vince. But
freely admit that I'm not the best deck builder in the world.
When you were also really busy during that too, and I was like, I hope Vince was able to put some time into his deck. He's got
I literally I think I put like 6 hours, not even 6 hours. I was like Harlan Sweet's deck, and then I was like, how do I fit these
minus
and these in here?
That's what it looked like, and I was like,
which was like not the ideal route to go against, especially against the deck I was going. And like Dad Khan is a good player, but
yeah,
anyway.
you
It's
also
fun.
had a
It was
really
still
rough
fun.
matchup, daisy after daisy after daisy.
Yeah, not ideal. What about you, Andy? What are you
I
thinking?
don't know. I like Steel Song. I might try and play that one. I might just try and change it up at every single event, because I kind of feel evenly about Emerald Amethyst. Like I have fun building a list in Emerald Amethyst, whether it be oops all Diablos or a more tempo build with like Curse Merfolk and Cloud Kicker and things like that. But then I'm like, not so much removal, right? And then I go, okay, what about Ruby Amethyst? And I'm like, ooh, that's got the removal. And then it's a little slow. And I did some testing today with Kirsten, and Amethyst Steel was just popping off, Pete and repeat and repeat and repeat. And it was like, she played Pete only like 10 times in a row. I petitioned to make Pete the villain of the week this week. Again, yes. And you're like, oh, we already did Pete. Yes, but you can bounce Pete back to your hand and then play him again and again and again and again. And I hate that Pete. So
Honestly, I think we should get folks in the comments to say like, are we allowed to repeat a villain of the week if they're still a villain? Because you know what, I'm supportive of the idea that cards that were villains can still come back and be villains, and then that makes them a super villain.
Possibly.
Oh, we're gonna have tiered villains of the week now. Yeah.
I mean, hey, like, you know, some people win MVP more than once. You know, Michael Jordan has 6 rings. All right, like it's not doesn't have to be completely inclusive. So I kind of agree with Vince here, but
I mean, and like Lewis Hamilton and Mick Schumacher and Mike Schumacher, they have Mike Schumacher. Oh my God,
what?
I like just I'm blanking, but I was gonna say, 7-time world champions.
Vince
F1.
trying to flex his F1, you know.
Yeah.
Vince has got a new hobby, guys. It's called Racing of Villainy.
Racing of
Only Vrooms of Villainy.
Only on TikTok. What'd you say? Ropes of
Vrooms of
Vrooms of Villainy.
VOV.
VOV.
VROV.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Anyway, yeah, I'm not surprised though that you're going to try to play a different deck.
Yeah,
at all of them, because you do that. You've done that for the past few sets now.
Well, I usually have one that I think is good, and I play it until I win or like lose really, really bad, and then I play a different one until I win, and then I like trying to switch them up and stuff. But no, Blurple, Amber Steel, Amethyst Steel, Ruby Amethyst, Emerald Amethyst, Ruby Sapphire. All of those are ones that, and even Sapphire Steel still, the Harlan Sweet style. Those are all lists that like I feel I could play and would have fun playing and would have a chance to compete with. I'm going to try my hand a little bit at trying to read the meta as best I can. I know, I mean, like, I always take that into consideration, but like, I'll probably try and do the same thing. You know, is Vince going to show up? He told me on the podcast he's playing Ruby Amethyst, so I know I can count that on him. Brad, Jank, let's throw that on the list, and then we like count them all up, and then I like
never know.
Do the calculations. It's like that GIF with all the numbers flying by my head, and then I just grab a random number and go, "This is the deck I'm playing."
You can't be calling though what Brad plays Jank, because he is now a set champion. Okay.
Yeah.
He's a one-time set champion. Do you know who's a 0-time set champion? This guy.
That's how we all were.
I was gonna say, look, a Jank deck wins a set champions at least once, right? Like it's like a broken clock is right twice a day. You know, a Jank deck can still win set champs.
Luck was on my side that day.
No, Brad made some insane moves. I always I said it in the match I commentated with Thick Flare, Kirsten's and Dad Kana's, and like for me, when I'm commentating or watching a match, obviously all I'm thinking about or I'm talking about is like what do I think is going through their heads? What's going through my head given the situation I see here? What do I think is the best play? What do I want to do here? What am I looking for? And whenever, especially when I have a lot of time to think about something like a really long turn, and I sit there and I go, this has got to be what they do. It's got to be what they do. They do this and then this and this. They play that and they swing into this. And then they do something different that is better than what I thought I was like sure was the right move. It just blows my mind. I'm like, that is a good, like, that's a sign of a really good player. And that happened multiple times watching Brad play when he won his set champs with that. I mean, you've talked about that one insane highlight play you had with like the double Gaston and the Rhea, Gaston, Rhea, Rapunzel or whatever, and like,
it's my favorite combo, man.
Yeah, Kirsten did some of those, Dad Kana did some of those, so like, you know, it's not just you got really lucky. You did really well with a deck that you torture yourself with trying to make better than it deserves to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, shall we move on to villain of the week?
Yeah, who's doing it?
You are, buddy.
I am. I guess that's fitting. I used to run this card in the deck we just talked about. Apologies to Gantu from set
All hail.
1. The first chapter, we have the Lantern. A 2-cost uninkable in Amber. Birthday Lights being the ability. You exert to pay 1 ink less for the next character you play this turn. Flavor text: lanterns fill the sky on one special night. Beacons of hope and love. Art by Eri Welli. It's a pretty fun card, as Andy described it earlier, as like a ramp card, right? You get that out there, and then every turn, assuming they're not popping your items, you're just playing characters for one ink less. And in early iterations of my Mufasa deck, it was fun to get out there and just start cheating things out sooner than they should be. And then soon enough, you have more than one lantern out there, and everything is just almost free most of the time and ridiculous. But why is this villain of the week, Andy?
Well, I think this card is on the rise. If this is mad money, I'm saying buy. Put this in your deck. Try it out. Mess around with it. Let me pause here. This is not financial advice. Rules of Villainy is not telling you to buy this card physically. However, if you do buy it, use partner.tcgplayer.com/ROV. Anyway, stocks on Lantern are rising, and as Brad said, it's ramp. But it is basically paying two ink for 1 extra ink, which I guess is just ramp. But when you compare it to cards like Pluto, Doc, Gaston, the other cards that get you characters for cheaper, those all have the same fatal flaw of being characters that I can take out with my Fox, will you, or Maui, or whatever. The Lantern, much harder to remove. Item hate, as they call it, or item removal is not as popular anymore. We might start seeing some more like of the dual item location removal in like Hideaway or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's really the only card that's played.
But,
although I guess there are the cards that can take what's the song in Amber Steel? Help me, guys.
Bare Necessities.
Bare Necessities. Thank you.
Take that out. Yep. So there are a few, but those cards kind of come and go, right? Like we aren't seeing as heavy item Sapphire builds anymore. So Dime isn't as popular. Therefore, there's less value to cards like Hideaway and what's the steel character 2/3 Quest for 2.
Oh, Benja.
Benja. Yep, there we go. Like those cards just they don't even get considered really anymore because of this. So this is essentially free forever. The great part is that in a lot of these amber lists, you're playing relatively low to the ground and quickly. So you can play something like a Daisy on 1 and then a Lantern on 2, exert the Lantern, play another Daisy from that Lantern. Then the following turn, you can exert the Lantern, play a Naveen for free, or for 1 less, and then play the whole new world from Naveen for free. And now, before you go and tell me that was 5 uninkables in your hand, I will respond to that with "shut up." And then I will continue. Anyway, I just,
welcome to Rules of Villainy After Dark, where the takes get hotter and spicier.
Look, we may be in Magical Christmas Land at this point, but I'm just saying this card can take you to Magical Christmas Land if you let it. All right, a free ramp.
So so I get the free ramp and stuff. I have a question though. Is why do you think this card has come back into the meta and a card like say Sleepy Flute has not returned back to the meta? Because there was a time that we were seeing both being played and people were trying to figure out which item they would want and stuff. Why do you think Sleepy Flute isn't played?
Because it's worse. No, but the only reason I think those two got compared was because they were both 2 cost uninkable, right? Items. Sleepy
and this
Flute is a way to close out a game, kind of like a crab, not a crab, a goat, or like a go-go or something like that. Lantern, I think, is really important in the current meta because we're seeing we're seeing decks like Blurple and Ruby Sapphire, and the ramp on 2 is just incredibly strong to be able to, it gains so much tempo, and a card like this gains a lot of tempo as well. So the problem that this has is Amber is notoriously weak in card draw, so you have to run it with something like Amber Steel, and you have to kind of high roll or get lucky into getting something like the whole new world. Or we've seen players like Spessy and probably Brad after he wins the Chippendale Classic with Pascal from Amber Amethyst. We've seen that where, I mean, just like think about how nasty that is. Like any turn 1, Lilo, Maleficent, Daisy, even just the recycling turn 1s, Lantern, and then the following turn, Lantern, and then another 1-drop, and then the following turn being able to Lantern into a Pascal, a turn 3 3/3 evasive that quests for 3. It's just like, what do you even do about that, mate? Like, so it goes really fast, and I think it's really important to be able to gain the most tempo that you can.
Yeah, and it's one of those cards in comparison to the flute as well that like every turn you probably get to use it, in contrast to the flute where you might not always be able to sing a song. So you're not trying to get the flute out early. Like Andy said, it's more of a closer. If you have it, you can dump it at an opportune time, sure. But a lot of times it's just sitting there. The lore gains are great. I play plenty of games with Kristen from Grapes where that flute's like, well, I just got to deal with that the rest of the game. But the lantern itself is getting turned sideways probably every turn, whether you need to or not. Why not? I'll save a little bit of ink and maybe get 1 extra character out or some other use for this ink that otherwise would have been used on a character. So I think in that comparison, that's why this would be favored, especially in a character-centric deck too. Maybe not in a Steel Song deck. Of course, Flute's going to be there over Lantern. But we've seen iterations of it in the past. So I think DeCandio, maybe even Bivens was doing Steel Song versions with Lantern before several sets ago.
Interviewer DeCandio. Why is it that you're playing Lantern in your deck?
Yes.
Because I like playing characters for free. Because I like paying less for characters I play. That was like he had like this deadpan response.
Yeah, it was it was more along the lines even better than that. It was like because getting cards out for free seems like a good idea.
Yeah,
So, like yeah.
it was so good. But yeah, I think if you think about it, like some of the best cards there are, I like it, personally. I think songs are the best cards in Lorcana. They have the highest potential value to them because of essentially their ability to be able to play them for free. However, they have a higher risk and a higher because of their higher reward. So how many times you stuck with a song and you play a song and you're like you when you play a song as an action, it feels a lot worse because you lose the tempo. It's always better to play something that has the body attached to it. So characters are far more consistent. So if you play something like flute, you have to play a lot more songs, but you still have to play characters to be able to utilize the songs. And then the flute is obviously not helping, that package. It's just an add-on to it. The lantern, on the other hand, plays into characters, which are a little bit more consistent, in my opinion. It's a lot safer to play just a ton of characters. It's why decks like the Amethyst, Emerald, like all character style decks work really well. It's why the Mufasa style all characters decks, they work because they're very consistent. They don't have the opportunity to just get like these free things happening out of nowhere. Like, well, I just get to do damage and draw cards, out of nowhere for nothing. No, but they get to play good quality characters consistently, and they force you to have answers for them. And something like Lantern plays into that a lot better, whereas Flute, I think, just becomes more of a high roll ultimately. That said, flutes in the traditional steel song, do we see room for them? Maybe, I don't know.
Andy's cooking something.
He's thinking.
Yeah.
He's cooking.
But with that, let's move into the artist showcase.
Yes, artist showcase. We have 25 cards by Eri here. Some notable ones. One enchanted is the Beast Relentless from set 2. One of my favorites as a Beauty and the Beast lover. Both the normal art and the enchanted. It's like Andy's looking for it right now.
I have that one, don't I?
Probably. Some other notable ones. Our favorite Donald Duck Flustered Sorcerer. Is it Flustered? I can't. It's too small on the screen here. From this set, the legendary, Flustered Sorcerer, 25 lore.
Oh, that's a great artwork card. Yeah, there you go. You do have it.
The three fairies from Sleeping Beauty, the trifecta of the continuous art are all there. Vince's favorite Zipper is an work by this artist.
How did that become my favorite? Where does
we
it has
did
ward
a collab
and resist.
is it from that collab
with Be Our Guest Lorcana and
with Heath, who's now on Overexerted.
Okay, nice. But we did that collab and we were reviewing Sapphire cards, and I'm pretty sure we like me and him were like, nah, on Zipper, and you were like, I swear, Zipper, I'm telling you guys, trust me, Zipper is like the card. And you were like, Resist is so hot right now.
And honestly, it's even if that didn't happen, this card has both ward and resist. So it gives resist. So those are two of your favorite things.
To be fair, Sapphire was kind of weak. Right? I was trying to find a card that was going to be good.
Road to Questlmania, which I think has been recently rebranded to another wrestling pun. But Lorcana Heat, I think I mentioned this earlier. They're doing a series where they try and take a card all the way to a set champs and win with it. And Uncool Sam has Grandpappy, one of Brad's favorites. And Thick Flare is doing Zipper, which is Vince's favorite.
That's a good card.
Yeah.
All
right.
For two. One other thing, I can't get away from this without mentioning that Eri also has one Magic Broom in their library of cards. It is the Big Sweeper from set 3.
Big Sweep. Big sweep.
We need more
We love
brooms, by the way.
We do need
Yeah,
more
more
brooms.
brooms.
More brooms.
So
more better.
World State and more brooms. Thank you.
Just for the record, World's date first, then more brooms. Okay, all right.
You know what? I'm
Ooh.
amendable. Andy's got a particular order. I'll take what I can get.
It's possible we get them relatively at the same time because we're almost at reveal season, right? We got a new set. What's not to say there'll be some vanished brooms, some illusions of brooms coming up, you know?
Illusions of
Magic
brooms.
Broom World Sweeper. It's limited edition promo Worlds card that has the date on it that gets announced as part of Reign of Jafar. We get them at the literal exact same time.
Dramatic.
It's actual like card number will be the World State.
Oh, they could do it at All-Star Movies at Disney World where they have the giant brooms outside the Fantasia building. Like, it's all coming together, guys. We should plan these things.
Ravensburger, hire us. Our contact is in the description below.
I'm still waiting for the video where it's like, hey guys, Ryan Miller here from Ravensburger. I'm here at Worlds, which is happening right now, live from the studio 5B.
No. What we need is I'm Ryan Miller and Steve Warner here with the rules of villainy, folks, who to announce. Anyway, we'll end it there. So let us know what you think of our villain of the week. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you're joining us on audio, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora. Again, I hear we're on, or wherever you might listen.
And if you're joining us on YouTube, which if you're not, you definitely should. We have a lot of fun. Sometimes we throw up hand symbols on the screen that you need to be able to look at. Like, subscribe, subscribe. We're doing hand symbols again. And hit the bell icon. I can't make a bell. Sorry.
If you're brave enough.
Of our next episode. Saturday. Tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central. I will see you there in person, or I will see you there in the chat. No excuses.
I feel like you're like the wrestling. It's like Sunday.
Let me tell you something, brother. If you're not at
the most exciting Lorcana content on the internet, you'll have to pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Yeah. Whoa.
It's actually free.
Good promo.
There's no
good promo.
Well, the tournament costs money, but watching it is free. There's no seats. It's not a spectator event. Anyway.
You can sit wherever you want when you watch it on any device on our YouTube channel. We understand your time is valuable, so we appreciate you spending a little bit of it with us. If you would like to follow along as we plot our devious plans, consider following us on our socials. We're on Instagram, Blue Sky, and the platform formerly known as Twitter at Rules of Villainy. We also have a growing community on Discord, which you can be a part of with the link below.
Yeah, and I know Andy did say that it was free, but actually only every 4 words is free. The 5th and 6th, you've got to subscribe to our Patreon at $4.99 a month in order to hear the 5th and 6th of every 5th and 6th word.
Wow. Okay, Vince.
I'm not editing that out, Vince, so I need you to have 2 microphones and say 3 words into one, and then the others into the other microphone, so that
you're absolutely right. In fact, I'll just demonstrate how that's going to happen. Look at that card there. Hi, what are we doing here? So for those that are
wow, this episode is bonkers, man.
But until next week, stay safe, fellow villains. Be wary of wannabe heroes who want to disrupt your villainous plans. And as always, remember the rules of villainy.